Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys can hear me over this fan. Hold on, but it's the fan in front of me, it's hot. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna do a video. I'm just gonna be doing a makeup look, and I'm gonna be like ranting about stuff that's been on my mind lately. But yeah, I have my hair tied up because you know it's hot and my hair puff up. So while I'm doing my makeup, my hair tie is going to be on for the most part. At least that's my intentions as of right now. I may take it off during, but yeah, I'm about to sit here and do my makeup. I'm on the couch, nice and comfy, about to put my feet up and run my mouth. So if you're interested in hearing what I gotta say, stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you can be notified every single time I post a video. Follow me on all social media platforms at the girl with a flower name. And yeah, let's get into it right now. So I do have a makeup look in mind that I wanted to it's just like a pink eyeshadow. This is I'm gonna put the makeup look on the screen. I want to talk about people who are like haters, or people who like recommend stuff to you that they wouldn't want for themselves. So I was talking to somebody yesterday, right? Because yesterday came out that something passed to where Donald Trump can now move forward with, I guess, like laying off Department of Education employees. And I was talking to somebody and he was like, oh well, people really don't want jobs because, you know, they could always, you know, go in like the DSP or something. And DSP is direct support professional, right? And that's like when you take care of people who are physically unable, so they can have like developmental delays, they can be paraplegic, right? Or some may be high functioning where you just have to watch over them a little bit. It depends on what clients you have, right? Mind you, this person worked in that field and they quit. So my whole thing about it, y'all go, well, why would people from Department of Education go work in the medical field? That is an education field. Why would they not stay in their field, right? One. And two, if that's a job, I don't want a white cast, but if that's a job that you quit from, that's not even a career that you retired from, why would you want to recommend that to somebody else? And that's something I see with a lot of people. A lot of people have the mentality of, well, I had to struggle, or I had it hard, so they will try to purposely make it hard for other people, or try to give them bad advice, or lead them down a road of destruction, knowing that that's something that you didn't want for yourself, or that's something you don't want for yourself. So why would you recommend it to somebody else? So I'm like, if that's a career that you quit from, right, and you would never go back, why would you want other people to go into that field knowing that you couldn't stand that field, you would never go back? You have co-workers that you talk to that said the same thing, like, I would never go back there. So why would you recommend that to somebody else? As a person who went to college, when you are in a certain field, right, or you went to school for something, it's best that you try to break into your field because you need relevant experience. So if you want to get into a field, it's best to try to break into that field and then stay in that field. Why? Because that's the field you want to work in, right? So why would they go from working in the education field to practically like a CNA or a DSP, a direct support professional? Why would they go into like more so the health field and direct care and taking care of people, and they worked at the Department of Education, which is more probably like an office sector? Why would they do that? And that's something that you don't want for yourself. So why would you recommend that for somebody else? And that's something I see a lot of people love to do. Like, they will purposely try to steer you the wrong way or give you bad advice and know exactly what they're doing, and praying that you're stupid enough to follow their advice, or that you don't know no better so that they could guide you down a road of struggle. Like, if that's something that you know you didn't want for yourself, you quit, you couldn't take it, you felt burnt out, why would you recommend that for somebody else? Why would you want somebody else to be burnt out, stressed, underpaid? Why would you want that? Now, if that's something they have to do, because push come to shove, that's something they have to do, but why would you recommend that knowing that's something that you did not like? So I've been seeing that a lot with people. Like, they will try to recommend stuff, or they will watch you struggle, or they know what a struggle is like, and they feel like, well, since I had it hard, why would you try to steer somebody in a direction like that? Like, I do not like people like that. Like, prime example would be Simone, right? That went viral. Her friend is struggling, and she had the means to help her, which, granted, she's not supposed to help her if she don't want to help her, right? She's not entitled to do so. But the fact that you watched your friend struggle, and then once your friend got something for herself, right, you then had the nerve to tell her, like, I don't like how that makes me feel, what you just told me. Well, girl, you watched my car get repossessed, I'm back at home with my mom, I got a child. you're helping other people, you're not helping me. And then when I got something, you had the nerve to basically tell me like, I don't like how that made me feel. Essentially saying like I'm really not too happy for you, but you watch me struggle. And a lot of people are haters like that, and a lot of times people think that people who are haters are just gonna come out their face and say I'm a hater. They're not gonna come out their face, but they will show you. And it's just a simple fact of even that. Then she had the nerve to tell her friend like, I like to work as a team, well, let's be a team. But yet when she was struggling, you wasn't trying to help her build. You didn't even try to give her an opportunity. Yet once she got off her ass and you see that she didn't beg you, or that she didn't crumble, and that she didn't destruct how you thought she was, and her struggling days were coming to an end now because she found her own opportunity, oh, I want to be a team, I want to be a team. A lot of people will take joy in people struggling, or joy watching somebody's life be fucked up, and they will try to fuck your life up for you if you don't know no better. Like, you are praying this person don't know no better, or this person is dense enough to either beg you, or depending on the situation, right, beg you, or like listen to your bad advice like they don't know no better. And it's like, I don't like when people do that. Same thing like when rich people, they're good to tell people. I watch a lot of rich people do this, and they used to piss me off even as a kid, watching celebrities and rich people. And they would be like, oh, it's not about the money, money doesn't buy happiness, you know, even some stuff, being rich is boring. That is not, that's so condescending to me. Because it's like, you're rich, right? You didn't stay in the hood. You made sure that you excelled out of the hood. You excelled out of poverty. You didn't want to stay in that predicament. So why would you sit there and try to preach that back to the community or back to people? Like, it's not about the money. As you're dripped in designer, as you are layered in chains and layered in diamonds, as you are driving luxury vehicles, as you are flying private, but yet it's not about the money. You are able to send your kids to the best schools. You're able to vacation freely, but yet you want to sit up here and tell people it's not about the money. Yet you probably barely ever go back to the hood that you came from, but yet you want to sit up here and tell people, oh, it's not about the money. And I hate when people do that. That shit is so condescending, and that will make me not like somebody so quick, because it's like, do not be sitting up there telling somebody something that you didn't want for yourself. You don't want to stay in poverty, right? So why would you try to sit up there and tell somebody it's not about the money, knowing that the money changed your entire life, changed your looks, your life, your family's life, your kids' life, your future generation life, but yet you want to tell somebody it's not about the money, as if we don't live in a capitalist society. Like, that will piss me off so bad with people. Are you serious right now? I hate when people do that, because it's so condescending. And it's like, yeah, you gonna say that as you are no longer poor, you're no longer struggling, and you know what it's like to struggle. Or it depends, maybe you don't. Maybe some people, they could be rich and say that, but you know what it's like to struggle, and you didn't want to keep struggling. So why would you sit there and tell somebody? Like, I hate when somebody does that. Like, they try to make people journey harder, or they tell people stuff that they wouldn't want for themselves, their kids, people. Like, why would you tell somebody that? I might use a different foundation. Ooh, this one blend perfectly. You see how it damn looks like I put nothing on? I feel like this skin, my skin color changed so much depending on how much water, junk food, sugar I'm intaking, because this is blending perfectly today. Sometimes it looks too dark, sometimes it looks too light, but this looks perfect, like a perfect match. I don't know, that just pisses me off with certain celebrities, or just people in general, who try to give people bad advice intentionally, or like will sit there. And I feel like a lot of people love to watch people struggle. And I was even thinking about this the other day, like, even when people thought that TikTok was going away in January, right? And people was like, ooh, now people gotta get real jobs. And it's like, baby, anything that brings in income is a real job. I mean, unless it's a legal activity, of course. But anything that brings in legal money is a real job, period. Like, I don't know why people feel the need to try to diminish people. And it's like, I realize that a lot of people be so mad that they have to struggle, or that they have to make certain choices based on the hand they was dealt in life. And that's, you know, that's something you got to take out with God or spirit, or whoever you believe in, Satan, whoever you believe in, you damn demons. I don't know why people try to do that. Like, they will try to steer people down a road of destruction just so they could watch them struggle, or they like gloat when people are struggling. And it's like, that's something you didn't like, that's something you didn't want for yourself, that's something that did not want to, that's a predicament you did not want to keep being in, right? So why would you sit there and want that for somebody else? Or why would you sit there and try to recommend that to somebody else, or sit there and talk somebody else into certain stuff? Like, I don't like that. Like, that would make me curse you out too, because I've always been very observant and I watch how people move. Like, that's something you didn't want, or that's something you didn't like, so why would you try to recommend it to me? And then people, they'll get quiet because then they know, like, ooh, like, she's not dumb. Yeah, I'm not dumb. Like, I'll be looking at people like, who y'all think y'all playing with? Sometimes I love when people curse people out behind that, like, yeah, because who you think you playing with? And I watch that. A lot of people love to, like, watch people go through, like, fucked up situations. I'm gonna go on a fawn. That's a good way, if you ever do some shit like that, for me to curse you out, because don't recommend me nothing you don't want for yourself, or don't try to lead me down a path of struggling because you think it's funny, or you feel like, or you're bitter because you feel like, oh, well, I had to struggle. Yeah, that was you. You're not doing it. Like, people always be trying to reroute your plans or talk you down about stuff, or no, I'm not listening to you. There be people like that. Like, you hate your own life. You hate the life you live. You hate the path you walked. So why would you try to get somebody to go down that same path? That is so corny to me, cheesy, and it's such a hater. And I've realized that, like, people, a lot of people in this world are haters, and it's not always how you think, how people think, like, oh, they'll just be haters over clothes or a boy or a girl. No, people will hate just your life in general. Hate that. They will hate the favor that you have, or the cards that you was dealt, or the fact that you don't gotta bust your ass for stuff, or like, why would you do that to somebody? I don't know, like, I'm just not a big fan of people like that. Like, I don't like haters, because I'm just a big believer in you don't know what somebody went through. So don't hate on nobody. And who are you? I don't know, like, no matter what I'm going through, I'm never the type to feel like, oh, that person doesn't deserve this, or oh, that person doesn't need that. Like, who am I to dictate that? Who am I to feel like I'm so high and mighty that that person's beneath me, like they shouldn't have it and I should have it instead? You know, like, I don't like people who are haters like that. That's the whole purpose of me having a YouTube channel, so I could teach y'all stuff that I learned, or even just hoping that I find people that could connect with me and relate to my videos. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't like people that do stuff like that to people, like try to ruin their plans, or tell them something wrong, or spread misinformation because they want to see this person fail. Hold on. I feel like a lot of people are haters, and then sometimes people be miserable because they couldn't accomplish their goals, or because stuff didn't go how they wanted, so they will try to talk you into it. I watch a lot of people do that. Like, you're miserable. You don't even like the lifestyle you live. You don't like the life you wake up and have to live every day. I'm not listening to nothing you say, and that's exactly why they tell you should not take advice from everybody. And I'm just a big believer in, I don't care. You know, people be like, you shouldn't take advice from people whose life you wouldn't want. I don't even feel like that's 100% true. I think that even if you have, somebody has a lifestyle you want, some people will still have that mentality of, I had to struggle, so you're gonna struggle. So they can still be a higher up, be wealthy, and still will try to give you bad advice because they are, one, maybe intimidated that you may take their spot, or they want to make you struggle because they had to struggle, right? So I'm just a big believer in, you have to look at the character of a person before be taking their advice or be listening to them. I remember that in college, like, I would never listen to my advisor or any advisors, because I remember when I was going to college, right? And I remember at orientation, I think it was like the president or something, it was some school official, and he was like, most people don't finish college in 4 years, they finish in 5. How are you gonna tell me at a 4-year university that the people don't finish school in 4 years, right? And trying to convince people, was like, shoot for 4, aim for 5 or something. No, it's shoot for 5, aim for 4, meaning like, if you can finish in 4 years, that's great, but if you can't, the only way I would stand for 5 years if I was doing a 4+1 program, which was the bachelor's and master's, but my major didn't have a master's program to go along with it, so I ended up finishing school in 3 years. And I started to realize that even with college, like, them people don't work for you, they work for the school, babe. So if they could get as much money out of you, if they could make you stay as long as they possibly can, I put too much concealer. If they can make you stay as long as they possibly can, that's great for them. Why? Because the more money they get out of you, right? And that's the thing about it. Like, I did not listen to none of their advice. Like, no, because these people will try to tell you stuff in life, and I be looking at some of them like, I'm not listening to y'all. You have to move to the beat of your own drum, because people will try to fuck you over and tell you some fucked up shit for their benefit, so they can keep you down or keep you ignorant or watch you struggle, and they sit back and laugh at you as you're struggling. Like, you're not telling me that dumb shit. You could tell certain stuff to certain people, but I've always been like that since a kid, very observant. And one thing about it is I have no problem challenging somebody. Like, I have no problem challenging you. My mouth has always gotten me into trouble. I would challenge you, adult, anything. Like, I don't believe in that. Respect your elders. I don't believe in that. Like, no, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're telling me something wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're telling me something wrong. And I'm not gonna just listen to you because you're older than me, or no. Because everybody don't have good intentions. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at the intention of people that is giving you advice, because everybody don't have good intentions. Some people is like, you don't have good intentions, you don't have pure intentions. So I would never listen to nothing you said, because you don't have good intentions. And sometimes people don't even like you. That's another thing too. Like, yeah, babe, you don't like me, or you don't even like your life. You're miserable. You hate your life. You hate your lifestyle. You'll try to sit there and tell anybody anything because you don't like your life, or you trying to get more money out of people. Like I said, it depends on the situation, but sometimes people just don't always have your best interest. No matter how qualified they are, no matter how rich they are, some people just don't have your best interest at heart. They never did, they never will. And it's okay to check them and let them know. No, some people just be pure haters, and they will try to fuck your life up, or just fuck you over and watch you struggle so they can laugh. Now that my base is done, let me get into this eye look. I'm seeing a little smoky eye. I don't know if I'm doing that little smoky eye, but I do see a little brown. All right. And I watched that a lot of people like rejoice when people are struggling, or they be so happy to laugh and kiki, which is why I'm also hyper vigilant when it comes to people giving me advice, or when people trying to help me or tag along. Like, because some people, even if they have the right advice or the right answer to give you, it don't mean that they're gonna help you. Or even if somebody has the means to help you or lead you down the right path, that don't mean they're gonna do it. So I learned that from a young age. Like, I don't hold my breath depending on other people when it comes to stuff. And I'm not a person that's afraid to call out discrepancy. How you gonna tell somebody was literally saying that, they was like, I hate when people be like, money isn't everything. They was like, that's like telling a person that's enslaved, oh, freedom isn't everything because you have to think about your own food, water, shelter. They was like, well, let me decide then. Let me be the judge. And that is true. People love trying to tell you some fucked up shit. Let me decide. Don't try to decide no fucked up shit for me. I make the ugliest faces when I'm doing my makeup, but I don't care. The makeup need to eat, so. All right, I'm back. The camera might have shifted a little bit, but I'm back. I'm gonna use my Puff Pass translucent powder. But yeah, a lot of people don't want you to do good, or don't want you doing better than them, and they will try to fuck you up. I remember I got a dress made for prom, right? And I went to this dressmaker, and her daughter went to school with me, and she was in the same grade, so we both was going to prom, right? And I was talking to her. Long story short, my dress didn't get made. It ended up getting fucked up. It was a whole big shit, right? And I was talking to this girl, and she was like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, because you have to understand, she wasn't gonna want to make your dress better than her own daughter's, right? And I didn't think about it, because like I said, I'm not a hater, so I didn't think about it from that perspective. And she was like, yeah, of course she wasn't gonna want you to dress better than her daughter, or right, like and that's a real thing. And I wasn't thinking like that at 17 years old, but now at 23, I understand that. And with seeing a bunch of people who are like haters and who don't be happy for people and like be rooting for people's downfall, a lot of times people are not going to want you to do better than them. They're not going to want you to have more than them, or whatever the case may be. So you can't just be listening to everybody's advice, even if they could be in your field. That don't mean they're gonna want you to win, because how, like I said, they may feel like, oh, this person's gonna take my spot. And my mom has this mentality. She always be like, you never teach somebody how to do your job. So like, if she has to train people, she's not gonna train them to the best of their ability. Like, no, I don't want you to take my job. So she don't be training people like that at work. And I thought that was so funny, because it's a lot of people who, you know, like have that mentality where, you know, you're trusting them, or you thinking they trying to help you, but they not trying to help you. They trying to do you in, they trying to do you dirty, and you have to be careful with that. So I stopped thinking that too. Just because some people may have advice or may be in your field, that don't mean they're gonna help you. They might actually really do you dirty, because like I said, they may look at you as competition, or they may feel like, I'm not helping them be better than me, or I'm not helping them come up. I don't feel like my look looks nothing like hers. Yeah, but I've been watching people, and then sometimes the older generation too, like they be trying to tell people stuff, and it's like they be like, these young kids don't want to listen. Yeah, we don't want to listen because we seen how y'all lives turned out. We don't want to listen because y'all don't like your own lives and y'all are miserable and bitter. So why would we listen to you? Sometimes the most unhappy people be trying to like give advice or steer somebody in a direction. Like, you can't even steer yourself to happy, let alone think that somebody about to listen to you. Like, who you think? What you think, somebody a fool? Sometimes if they feel like they can make matters worse for you, they'll try too. Like, you just want to make their life a living hell. You just want to make things worse for them if you can. Like, my lashes is so cute. I'm gonna add a false lash on too, but I love this mascara, this e.l.f. lash extender. I go crazy about this all the time. Love this. e.l.f. did their big one. Fucking around with you, my life would be in shambles. Oh, it comes with its own tweezers. This is cute, this Ardell lash set. So it's a magnetic lash. You don't need no adhesive. Baby, I don't believe this. I'm putting some glue. I'm still putting glue. I feel like you just gotta be careful when it comes to people. I think it was always very hard for me to adopt that mindset because I was never a hater. So I was always just looking at people like, babe, I've always been a big believer in what's for you will be for you. Of course you have free will, but I hate when somebody acts as if somebody else's cards, right, or somebody else's life is hindering them. Like, they're not hindering you, babe. Like, that's like me looking at other YouTubers, since I do YouTube, and being like, well, they got monetized and they got their gold plaque, and you acting like that's hindering you. That's not hindering you. You gotta put in a word. Keep trying, or not, whatever you decide. But like, they be so hateful towards other people as if like their life is not where it's supposed to be or where they want it to be because of other people. So they try to fuck other people's life up, or tell people bad advice, or sell people a dream. And it's like, come on now. I have not put lashes on in so long. I've seen it as I'm getting older and I start to take life for what it is. A lot of people be straight little haters. Be so jealous of the next person as if the next person did something to them, or as if a person is taking food or money out their pockets or food out their mouth. Like, that person ain't do nothing to you, just a hater. And I watch a lot of people try to do that. Like, people love seeing people's life fucked up, or they love seeing people in compromising positions. Like, no. And then you look at some people's life, like, babe, look at your life. You can't advise nothing. And like I said, even people that sometimes can advise you still will advise you wrong. Why? Because they don't want nobody to have the same stuff as them. So some people will also try to sabotage you too. Like, look at you as competition. Like, oh no, that person can't come up, because if they come up, then it's over for me. Well, babe, if you feel like your spot is that shaky, then you ain't doing something right. I don't know. If you feel like your spot is for the taking like that, you're not doing your job to the best of your abilities in whatever field or industry you're in. But that just pissed me off yesterday when I was talking to this lady. Like, that's a career that you quit. That's an industry that you left behind. So why would you want to try to tell people like, oh, people really don't want jobs because they could work there? Well, why you don't want to work there then? Why you don't do it? Like, I remember after college, people kept asking me, are you going back to school? Are you going back to school? Are you going to pay for it? Like, I'm going to be in a bunch of debt, and who going to help me pay for it? Nobody. So I had to start realizing that as I became an adult. Like, I never really listened to people, but I damn sure wasn't listening to people, because people will be so quick to try to tell you what to do and don't be trying to help you with nothing. Like, but please be quiet. This is cute. I put 2 rhinestones in my inner corner. You see the rhinestone right there? Right there? Now, I don't know if I want to make... I don't want to put a dark liner. I'm too scared. I'm putting my blush on. Now that's one thing, her blush did look bright. Me and this fucking blush, like, I feel like I always have blush blindness. Like, I feel like I just always be so heavy-handed with my blush. I'm going around with a pressed powder to just give it that airbrush look. Let me spray some setting spray. But, whew, drench myself in setting spray. Okay, I have 2 little space buns. I gotta fix my edges and stuff, but for the most part, I look good. This is what it's given. Do I look similar? Yes. Did I execute it just like her? No. She has a super bright under eye, which I was not doing because I don't like bright under eyes on me. The eyeshadow is similar, but I think I look similar, not like her. I think I did pretty good though. If you look at the picture, similar. Similar. I look similar. Not identical, but I look similar. I used the Aurascape palette by Morphe for the eyeshadow too. But this is the final look. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for listening to me run my mouth and rant and ramble and probably repeat myself 1,000 times. Because one thing I love to do, I realize I do, is I repeat myself 85 million, 100 times in a video. Just keep repeating myself over and over and over and over like a broken record. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I really do it when I'm focusing because I'm so busy focusing. Multitasking is not my strong suit, but yeah. But I want to thank you guys for listening to me. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you can be notified every single time I post a video. Turn on, I did say that. See, here I go repeating myself. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at the girl with a flower name, and I will see you guys in my next one.